turned the TV off mid-breakfast last week and I haven't turned it back on. My 6-year-old can read now and there are wars on every screen. This one's about the guilt of wanting to know what's happening in the world while also wanting to keep my kids in their little bubble forever. So I'm standing in the kitchen last Tuesday. Toast is burning. The 4-year-old is crying because her sock has a bump in it. Normal morning chaos. And the news is on in the background like it always is, like it's been every morning for years. And I look over and my oldest is just standing there, still, staring at the TV. And I look at the screen and there's footage of, I don't even want to say what, but buildings, dust, people running. And the headline across the bottom is something like death toll rises. And I grabbed the remote so fast I knocked my coffee over, switched it off. And she looked at me and said, "Mum, what does death toll mean?" And my stomach just dropped. I don't know when she got so good at reading. Well, I mean, I do. We've been doing the readers every night, little books from school with the dog called Biff or whatever. And I was so proud. I am so proud. But no one warns you that the moment your kid learns to read, the whole world gets a bit more dangerous. Not real danger, but like information danger. She can read the headline on my phone if I leave it on the bench. She can read the banner on the bottom of the news. She can read the covers of newspapers at the shops. And I can't unread things for her. That's the bit that gets me. I didn't handle the death toll question well, by the way. I think I said something like, "Oh, that's just a grown-up show. It's boring." Boring. I called a war boring. Mum of the year. But what was I meant to say? She's 6. She still thinks the tooth fairy is real and that our dog goes to a farm stay when we go on holiday. She's not ready for what's happening on the other side of the world. I'm not even ready for it, and I'm 33. So yeah, the TV doesn't go on in the mornings anymore, which sounds simple, but it's actually really annoying. Like I used to have the news on while I made lunches or while I packed bags, while I yelled at everyone to find their shoes. It was my little window into the adult world before I spent the next 10 hours in kid world. And now it's just Bluey. Again, don't get me wrong, I love Bluey. Everyone loves Bluey. Bluey is a national treasure. But I miss what's going on. I feel like I'm choosing between being informed and being a good mum. And I know that sounds dramatic, but it's how it feels. The other night, after the girls went to bed, I sat down and watched the news for the first time in like a week. And within 10 minutes, I was just crying on the couch, just sitting there crying. Because when you haven't seen it for a few days and then you see it all at once, it hits different. And all I could think was there are mums over there right now, mums with kids the same age as mine, and they can't just turn the TV off and make it go away. It is their morning. And then I feel guilty for crying about it from my couch in Australia. Like, what right do I have to be upset? My kids are safe. They're asleep in their beds with their stuffed animals and their nightlight. But I was upset. And I am upset. And I don't think those two things cancel each other out. I want to be really clear about something. This episode is not about politics. I'm not taking sides on anything. I'm not smart enough for that, honestly. Honestly, I can barely keep track of what day the bins go out. This is just about the feeling, the mum feeling, the one where your chest gets tight when you think about kids in places that aren't safe. And then you look at your own kids and you feel this weird mix of relief and guilt and fear all at the same time. And you don't know what to do with any of it. So you just make another cup of tea and keep going. I started doing this thing where I check the news on my phone in the bathroom, like I'm hiding, because I am hiding. I sit on the edge of the bath and I'll scroll through the ABC app and then I close it and go out and pretend everything's fine. My husband caught me the other day and he's like, "What are you doing in there?" And I was like, "Nothing," like a teenager hiding their phone. But I don't want to read it on the couch because what if she walks in? What if she sees a photo? What if she reads a headline over my shoulder? I've become so paranoid about it. The thing is, I know I can't do this forever. At some point, she's going to find out that the world isn't all bluey and fairy bread and school discos. At some point, she's going to learn about wars and bad things and people getting hurt. And I'll have to talk to her about it. But not yet. Please, not yet. She still does this thing where she waves at so many people in the shops, like everyone walking down the aisle. She still thinks everyone is good. And I just want her to keep thinking that for a little bit longer. Is that wrong? Maybe, I don't know. I had a moment at school pickup last week. I was standing there waiting, and two of the other mums were talking about what was happening overseas. And one of them said her son, he's in year 2, came home and told them that a kid at school was saying the world is ending. Year 2. These kids are 7. And I just stood there thinking, oh God, it's already getting in. Even if I turn off my TV and hide my phone and block every news site, other kids are hearing stuff and they're talking about it at school. And it's going to reach my daughter whether I like it or not. That kept me up last night. I laid in bed just staring at the ceiling thinking, what's my plan here? And the honest answer is, I don't have one. My little one, the 4-year-old, she's fine. She's oblivious. She's in her own world, and her biggest concern right now is that her toy unicorn's horn is bent. That's a real crisis in our house, by the way. Full tears, big drama. But the 6-year-old is different now. She's watching, she's listening, she picks up on everything. The other day, I was on the phone to my mum and I said something like, it's so scary what's going on. I didn't say what, I didn't say where, I didn't say anything specific. And after I hung up, she said, Mum, what's scary? And I froze. And she said, oh, the price of strawberries. The price of strawberries. She looked at me like I was insane. Fair enough. I actually spoke to my mum about it and I asked her how she handled it when I was little. And she said, well, we didn't have 24-hour news. And that's it, isn't it? When I was 6, the news was on at 6 o'clock, maybe again at 9:30. And that was it. There was no phone in your hand all day, no push alerts, no videos popping up while you scroll. My mum didn't have to hide in the bathroom to check the news because the news wasn't everywhere all the time. And I'm not saying things were better back then or whatever. I'm just saying the job is different now. The protecting part is harder because the world comes into your house whether you open the door or not. I've been thinking a lot about this word, innocence. It's a big word for me right now because I feel like it's the thing my kids have and I'm trying to guard it. Like it's something fragile sitting on the edge of a shelf and I'm just standing there with my hands out waiting to catch it. But I can't stand there forever. And I don't know when I'm supposed to step back. Here's what I keep going back and forth on. Part of me thinks, protect her. She's 6. She doesn't need to know. Let her be little. Let her think the world is safe and kind and full of people who wave back at the shops. And then another part of me thinks, but if I hide everything, am I making it worse? Like when she does find out, will it hit her even harder because she had no idea? Am I building a bubble that's just going to pop? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And if you're waiting for me to wrap this up with some nice answer, I don't have one. I'm just a mum on my couch who turned the TV off and is now hiding in the bathroom, reading the news on her phone like it's contraband. The guilt is the bit that really gets me though, because I feel guilty in every direction. Guilty that I'm upset when my kids are safe. Guilty that I'm not doing more, whatever more even means. Guilty that I can't explain the world to my daughter. Guilty that I lied and said strawberries are scary. Guilty that I wanted to stay informed, but I also want to look away. It's just guilt on top of guilt on top of guilt. And I don't think there's a right answer. I think there's just a bunch of mums sitting in their bathroom scrolling the news and feeling all of this at the same time and not saying it out loud. So I'm saying it out loud. Last night I went to check in on the girls before I went to bed, like I always do, and they were both fast asleep. The little one was sideways in her bed as usual. I don't know how she even does that. And my oldest was curled up with a book she'd fallen asleep reading. And the book was open on a page about a puppy going to the park. And I just stood in the doorway and thought, this is what I'm protecting. This exact thing. A kid who falls asleep reading about puppies. And I don't care if that makes me soft or overprotective or whatever. That's my job right now, to let her fall asleep reading about puppies for as long as I can. All right, that's me for today. I'm going to go sit in the bathroom and check the news. Just kidding. Sort of. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Real Mummy podcast. Remember, every mum's journey is unique and you are doing an amazing job. Please be sure to head over to our website at www.realmummypodcast.com to stay up to date with the latest episodes and dive into our recent blog articles filled with even more wisdom and stories. We absolutely love connecting with our listeners, so don't forget to follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Real Mummy Podcast. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and become part of our supportive mum community. And I'd love to hear from you. Have you got a topic you want covered? Do you have a guest you'd love to hear from? Reach out to us through our website or social media. Your input is invaluable and helps us to create the content that matters most to you. Thank you for being part of the Real Mummy Podcast family. Until next time, stay strong, stay kind to yourself, and remember, you're never alone on this journey.